Hey everyone, my name is Marcin and welcome to another Photoshop Camera Raw tutorial. You heard it right, today we're working with Camera Raw. I'm going to show you how to improve your image if you have dark, maybe not very interesting image, not looking exactly as what you saw in the moment when you were taking image, and turn this into dramatic, full of colors image quickly. So, first of all, if you're taking images, you don't have to have amazing professional camera to take good images. This image was actually taken by me by Sony Alpha 5100. The camera costs like $300, maybe now even less. It's a basic camera, few years old already. So nothing really super professional, but still you are able to take great images and take them to absolutely new level with few simple steps in Camera Raw, Photoshop or Lightroom. So I'm going to reset adjustments right now and go back and show you exactly my walkthrough in Camera Raw, what I did to make this image looking as the one you can see in front of you. So I'm going to reset Camera Raw defaults. Sorry for the sound outside, I live in the really busy area. So first of all, we have really dark shadows. We need to do something with it. So I'm grabbing in the basic panel the shadow slider and I'm going up to 100, but it really depends on you how much you need this. Like if your image is not that dark, you don't have to take this up to 100, of course. And also I want to define more details from the highlights, so I would grab the highlight slider and go down all the way. Once again, here you don't need to go all the way if your image has nicely defined details around the highlights. So remember this. So these two things for sure at first I'm getting. Now this image got a little flat. What we need to do? Add a little bit more contrast, and also to make this looking nice, define the details, I'm adding some clarity. So this is first steps. If I want even bring more light, I would just work with blacks and whites as an optional. So this is the first step if it's about shadows, highlights and contrast before, after. Let's jump into the colors. I'm adding a little bit of vibrance, usually around 10, not really more, similar if I would work with Lightroom. And then I'm jumping to panel number 4, and I'm starting with hue. I always start with blues because I want to define the sky. We don't have that much sky over here, so I wouldn't go that far into cyans, but maybe to -18, to change a little bit of the hue. That's just the color I prefer. And we have a lot of greens, and by looking at this image I can say, and maybe you can also say, this is really boring. We have just green and blue tones. This doesn't look like anything that could be interesting. And you see Camera Raw is very powerful, so we have greens. First of all, aquas to diversify this a little bit, turn into greens, and greens into yellows. Why I'm taking this drastic step with this image? Because yellow and blue are complementary color. They will be looking great together. Also yellows, I want to turn into more dry colors, like more orangey. Then I'm going to saturation, adding a little bit saturation for the blue, just because I like it. And of course more saturation for green, yellows, and if possible oranges. And the next step, I'm jumping into luminance. So here I will be working with light on each and a specific color. So I'm going down with lights a little bit for the sky. I want my sky to be darker in the background, and I'm going to bring up the light on the green, yellows and oranges. I really apologize for the noise. I heard someone is working there. I hope it's not really bothering you, but okay, back to the tutorial. Right now this looks much better, and the last step that I'm taking in Camera Raw would be split toning. Usually I add warm tones for the highlights and cold tones for the shadows, but I have sort of different situations here. My shadows have the warmer tones and my highlights are rather blue tones. So I would invert the situation here. For the highlights, I would go with blue tones around 220 and just a little bit of the saturation, not really more than 10. Hope 10 is not too much. And for the shadows, I would go with the more yellow orangey tones and add a lot of saturation, but not more than 40. And this image looks absolutely different. You can have a look, it looks like painting right now. This is something I like, and I hope you like it too. So then you can just open image in Photoshop. What I really like, I like to open this as an object, so it allows me to come back to Camera Raw anytime I want, just by double hit. When you get in Photoshop, I feel I changed something, not sure, or no, it's everything fine. In Photoshop, you can work a little bit more with curves to define maybe contrast a little bit more, to adjust the contrast. And I'll change blending mode to luminosity to not affect the colors itself. And also, I think it's a great idea to work with color balance and adjust the colors a little bit more for shadows and highlights. So for highlights, I would go more with the blue colors over here. Need to be careful to not overdo this. Midtones, a little bit of yellow and just maybe tiny touch of red. And for shadows, more yellow tones and green tones, if I'd like to define it. So something maybe like that, which is even stronger. That was like very quick effect. As you can see, I didn't spend much time, but this is something I would like. Let me know what you think. This is simple method how you can absolutely transfer your boring image to amazing looking image in Camera Raw. Thank you for watching and see you soon, or rather you see me very soon in another Photoshop tutorial. Thank you.